Here is a tutorial where I'm going to throw a bunch of stuff at you. Why? Well, because if we just stick with COUNTIF, you're going to fall asleep. In this example, we're going to look at some product, the COUNTIF, and the COUNTIF. What are we doing? We're going to count cells greater than or less than a particular requirement. Here, greater than 90 grand and less than 90 grand. Here's the stuff we're going to be working with. And if by now you haven't recognized the anatomy, each time you see a grayed area, that's a different formula. By now, after, I don't know, 50 recordings, there should be a pattern here. If not, I just explained to you the layout. Always to the right is a brief write-up. And here, you're just going to see the COUNTIF. I threw in these this sum product. Why? Why not? Because the Excel can be included in a lot of different ways. You can use sum product to do a COUNTIF. How does the sum product work? Keep in mind, what are we trying to do? We have a manager and his salary. We want to know, we want to count how many managers are making more than 90 grand. Here, you just have a list of 6 people or 7. But what if you had, I don't know, what if you were Walmart and you had 25,000 managers? You want to be able to track that stuff, and this is a way to do it. Sum product multiplies arrays of numbers and sums that results arrays. Here it is, and we've gone over sum product before, but we're going to have a bunch of information. So the first array would be COUNTIF, and that's, you see this COUNTIF? That will be the array. Is there anything else after that? No. So it's pretty straightforward. So what's it doing? Remember, COUNTIF is going to look for C5 to C10. And then anything over 90 grand is going to do what? Going to give a count. Sum product is an overkill here. Why? Well, because we're working with a single criteria. It's good to throw this in there because we're going to use this combination in the future. Less than 90 grand, you're going to see there's 5. And you're going to see this pattern throughout. We can use a simple COUNTIF to do the exact same thing. It'll work. For example, right here we have COUNTIF. Does the exact same thing. Why? Because we have a single criteria, and that is greater than 90 grand. If we had multiple criteria and we were counting more than one thing, then the sum product would work, or the sum would work. We go over here, we have a sum, COUNTIF. Again, the sum function is overkill here, but it's a good introduction because we're going to introduce that down the road. If you need to get a better understanding of how this works, practice. Continue to practice. That's what this is all about. Hit F9. All we're doing is just changing the count. Brief introduction to sum product, brief introduction to sum nested with COUNTIF.